I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at the Mighty Thor issue number 19. For Jane Foster to overcome the unstoppable power of the Phoenix Force, she may need some help from an old friend. What'll happen next? Let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Alrighty then, so picking up from where the last issue left off, Jane Foster Thor is still duking it out with the Phoenix Force. Quentin Quire is there too, but even with his extra psychic muscle, the fight is incredibly difficult. I mean, after all, the Phoenix is the fire of the universe, the great creator and occasionally great destroyer. The goal is that if our heroes can wear the Phoenix Force down long enough, maybe Quentin Quire can get the being to bond with him to become the new Phoenix. Of course, the Force is no idiot, and because of it, it ends up dragging Jane into the white-hot room, that strange psychic alternate dimension that you usually see in a lot of Jean Grey-centric stories. Here, what essentially a personification of the Force's power tries to hash it out with Jane. When you know it, the Force is actually pretty knowledge and up to speed on everything that's happening with Jane Foster, that she's dying right now due to cancer, and a big part of that is that every time she transforms into Thor, the hammer purges her of all the chemo medicine. It's because of this the Phoenix opts to give Jane a way out of the responsibilities that come with being Thor. No, the Phoenix Force doesn't try and cure her cancer, wouldn't that be something? Instead, the Phoenix decides to maybe ask Jane to let her take the hammer off her hands. And I mean, hey, she could do it, right? No one would blame her for losing the hammer to the Phoenix, but then Jane starts to think to herself, why would the Phoenix, who already has all this amazing power, want Mjolnir in the first place? And then it dawns upon her, the Mother Storm that exists inside the hammer, that sentient being that's been talking to her, must be the antithesis to the creation aspect of the Phoenix. The Storm is the great destroyer. It's something that the Phoenix is actually kind of scared about, so much to the point that it's willing to make a deal. Emboldened by this knowledge, Jane decides to whack the Phoenix upside the head with her hammer, saying that if you want it, you can take it from my cold, dead hands, and if I'm gonna die, it won't be sick in a hospital bed, it will be with my head held high as a god of thunder. Hearing all of this, the hammer decides to activate its true potential and unleash a full-on cosmic superstorm against the Phoenix. With that, the entity is almost on the ropes, allowing Quentin Quire to hop inside the White Room himself and try and gain the power of the Phoenix for himself. Things finally seem to be moving in the hero's direction, but it's still so very close as the Phoenix Force is so incredibly powerful. But hey, if one Thor could get them this far, two Thors may be exactly what they need to push things over the edge. Yes, that's right, at the 11th hour, Thor Odinson, the original Thor, reappears to help Jane out in this battle. Together, they bring their force together and are able to weaken the Phoenix long enough for Quentin to take over and become the new vessel. And with that, the day is more or less saved. The two rogue Shi'ar gods are brought before the city of Omnipotence to stand trial before the Parliament of Pantheons, which is just a bunch of great words all stringed close together. The Asgardians and the rest of the Shi'ar decide to put their differences aside and bury the hatchet with a good old-fashioned drinking contest. A standout, of course, being Kid Gladiator trying to hit on Sif. And finally, in a nice bit of bringing everything full circle from the first issue of this arc, Jane decides Cull the Serpent was actually right, and she can't be a counselor for the Asgardians on behalf of Earth if she's suffering with her own cancer. Because of that, she decides to practice some self-care, steps down as counselor of Earth, and decides to let Ross Solomon take her place to continue to look out for her. And the cherry on the cake is Jane eventually comes clean to Thor Odinson about everything that's been going on with her and her double life as Thor. It's a good thing then that these two former lovers can finally be truthful with one another, because we're going to need all hands on deck for the wars to come, be it Loki and Malekith continuing to wage their war against the realms, or the return of Mangog as the comic ends. So there you have it, everybody, the Mighty Thor issue number 19, the grand conclusion to the Asgard-Shi'ar war, and I gotta say, it was pretty explosive. Not only do we get to see Odinson brought back into the fold, not only do we get to see the true power of the hammer be tested against the Phoenix Force, but we also get treated to some nice character development from Jane Foster. She knows her limitations now, and she also knows that she wants to be around for as long as she possibly can to help save the day as a superhero. Art was great this issue. They do a great job showing all the really awesome, huge, sprawling cosmic fight scenes. I like the rendition of the white-hot room in this issue. I suppose the Shi'ar gods, despite getting built up so heavily over this story, did get defeated pretty easily, almost off-panel and then in prison, but on the upside of being in prison, it means we can probably see them again down the line. Overall, real solid. I give this one an 8 out of 10, and I can't wait to see what Jason Aaron has next for this series. So there you go, everyone, a Thor book on the docket. I hope you enjoyed it, and while I have your attention, why not check out some of these other books I have on offer from the channel. Want to keep up to date on all the newest comic videos I got coming from the channel? Well, there's no better way to do that than to follow me on Twitter at CapeJoel. And hey, if you like the work I'm doing on the channel and are feeling in a supportive mood, might I recommend becoming a patron? Patrons get exclusive videos and podcasts before anybody else. Every little bit helps, and you can do this for as little as $1 a month, or if you're not a monthly person, I also have a cyber tip jar down in the description of this video as well. So until next time, everyone, this has been CapeJoel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye-bye.